So good afternoon, Samiksha.
Hi, good afternoon. Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you too. So first of all, congratulations on your admission.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's actually like a pleasant surprise. I'm very excited about Wharton.
Good, good. Tell me a little bit about yourself. What is your background?
So I completed my chartered accountancy in 2018. Then I had my own edtech platform, basically a startup. I spent some time, built it from ground up, had users engagement, and then decided to learn about scaling venture businesses. That is how I joined a VC firm. So I've been with a VC firm since almost 2.5 years. And after, I would say, 2 years into the venture capital space, I decided to grow as a career professional and decided to pursue an MBA. So I just completed my notice period and I'm off for an MBA in July end. So I'll be flying July end and our term starts in August.
So you have been a working professional when you prepared for the GMAT.
Yes, I
How
was a working professional. Yeah.
how did you manage your time?
It was difficult, not super easy because COVID, the office hours, so to say, were blurred out. So we were working like 12, 14 hours a day. For GMAT, so I had taken Jamboree's online classes because I wanted to save the time on commute. And I used to make time on weekends and also early mornings. I had taken like some days off from my work. So I had taken a small study leave right before my GMAT exam. And yeah, I think a combination of weekends put into place, early mornings, the time that you can save here and there, and with a focused study break, like at least a week's time, is super helpful.
So it's interesting that you decided to learn online. A lot of students, they feel that when you are able to see the teacher and sit across the table, then it enhances the learning. So what has been your experience?
I honestly believe it boils down to the student's sincerity, whether you're in class or interacting online. If you're sincere enough, ready to learn, the teachers are more than happy to go above and beyond. So for me, Swati ma'am and Saurabh sir, they were my faculty from Jamboree, and they were super helpful. Whenever I had doubts, extra lectures or help with material, or there's something that I want to learn better, I know that I'm weak in some concepts, so helping me polish those. So if I had all my conversations online, like on Zoom calls, the lectures were conducted, and then if I had anything that I was finding difficulty with, I used to reach out to them on WhatsApp through a group. There was a group put in place by Jamboree uh, team, and it was very simple. I, in fact, with Swati ma'am, I went on to also discuss some difficult level questions, and she was super helpful. She put me in touch with the right people to solve book two questions, say, for example. And Saurabh sir actually went above and beyond to help me study with a group of students where there were more questions being asked, more curiosity being generated within the class. So it's, I don't think online or offline as a medium would matter as long as the student is sincere. So, yeah.
Right. So when you started thinking about the GMAT, how did you end up in Jamboree? How did you find Jamboree?
So it was a referral. One of my other friends had taken coaching from Jamboree, and they mentioned that so I was sure that I won't be able to make time to attend offline class because I had work and my work hours were not inflexible. So were not flexible. So I knew that I had to be flexible with my learning. So they mentioned that my friend mentioned that Jamboree's online courses are really good as offline, and that is how I signed up.
And you went for the weekday, the fast track classes, right? 4 days a week classes.
Yeah, so I had little time to prepare because I was earlier targeting round one of applications. So I wanted the portion to kind of finish in time. But I think after a point in time, it becomes self-paced because once the lecture is complete, then it's upon the student to practice and give mock tests and practice tests. So it becomes self-paced. So if the student wants to complete the course in like say 2 months vis-a-vis 4 months, then they have to plan accordingly.
So your classes went on for about a month and a half, right?
Yeah, approximately the time. Yeah.
So from the time you started your classes with Jamboree, so how many months did you take, to take your exam?
So I had done the classes earlier. Then I had to focus on something that came up at work. And then I resumed my studies. That's not advisable. It's better that student gets like takes up the classes, does all the mocks and gives the exam because it gets an inertia. But I had to take a break because of some commitment at work, and then I resumed my self-study. I think it was a 4 month period that like from the start of class till 4 to 5 months period. Yeah.
But that's actually
Till
good.
my
When after taking a break, if you could complete the whole thing in 4 months, that's actually not bad. That's good. So, so how many months did you spend, in your like on the portal doing the exercises or etc.
So I used to so once I had completed like the online classes wherein I used books. After that, all my practice mock tests were on the portal. I don't have like a number of hours or days that I spent, but I made sure that I completed all the tests, gave the official mocks
Right.
before I could attempt for the actual exam.
Right. So, I mean, when you were preparing for the GMAT, so you had the Jamboree material, of physical as well as the, online one. What other resources did you use?
I used the official guide. I used the review, which is again the official GMAT publication, and I gave two sets of official GMAT tests. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 and 2 I think is complimentary with the sign up, and 3 and 4 I had kind of bought it for extra practice. Yeah.
So basically, you relied on Jamboree material and official GMAT material. You think
Yes,
that is
correct. Yeah, more than sufficient. Jamboree, so anyone who's targeting 700 plus, Jamboree Book 2 is a must, especially for English. So my quant scores were consistently above 49, but my verbal scores were kind of, there was an area of improvement. So Book 2 really helped me to match that gap. So that is something that I would recommend very strongly.
when you started taking the mock test, right? So what score did you start with, and where did you end up?
Okay, so the mock tests that were like official mock test, I scored above 700 in almost all of them, but the Jamboree ones, so there are different difficulty levels. So in those mock tests, I scored like my lowest score was in 500s and my highest was 740 or 760, but my average score was 680 in the 12 tests that Jamboree has, full length tests. So average was 680. Yeah.
And what was your final score?
My final score is 740.
And what was the split between the sections?
Oh God. I'm sure the math is 50. I'm not sure on the verbal score.
Right. So during, I mean, you are from a like numbers background, so I'm sure that's you were pretty confident about. But even then, in the classes, was there something that you learned that made you go, I didn't think about this. Oh, this is interesting. Did you have that kind of a moment in your maths?
In math, so I had a lot of area of improvement with modulus, absolute numbers, and I would say I worked a lot on coordinate geometry as well. The eureka moment, I would say it was more often in English that we speak such errors when we speak. Like I'm probably saying it wrong even now. So English was like, I would say the eureka for me, that parallelism and agreeing verbs and agreeing nouns. And I'm yet to get there. Like I'm sure I can improve upon it even more.
So in verbal, so so anything like when you took the GMAT exam, right? So anything that came as a surprise to you that you wish now that you were more prepared for?
Surprise. Okay. So one tip that really helped me was not to carry the baggage of the previous question onto the next one, and whether it's right or wrong or you're not sure, because that is something that is undoable,
Right.
and the next question has to be right. One more thing that really helped me was to not panic when, so every student has like discomfort or may have discomfort with one or two topics. Say for example, I had discomfort with absolute numbers. In the mocks I used to panic when I used to see those questions, but then Saurabh sir said that if you panic, even if you know the answer, you may go wrong. So that fear has to be kind of kept aside. The question has to be tackled within 1 minute or less, and whether it's right or wrong, just attempt and go ahead. I would really strongly recommend all the students to attempt all questions. Like paper completion is a must in GMAT.
So while preparing, when you are preparing for the exam, so and versus now, looking back, anything that you would like to change?
I don't know if I would like to change, but I would really like to recommend people to not kind of break the momentum. Keep in touch with your studies, keep practicing mocks, and when you are in the momentum, take like 2-3 days off, and then give the exam, like 2-3 days off from work and other obligations, and give the exam. And I think I could have spent some more time practicing, but I don't think I would change anything when I kind of look back.
Right. No, I mean 740 is an awesome score. That's definitely whatever you did it right.
Yeah, it was a journey to get there, but yes, everything turned out really well.